So here's where this series gets messy. Because unlike every other country we've covered, nobody actually knows for sure if this one built the bomb or not. Iran has spent over 20 years insisting its nuclear program is peaceful, while half the world's intelligence agencies insist otherwise. So which is it? Let's find out. This story actually starts under the Shah, back in the 1950s and 60s, and get this, the United States helped kick it off. Under a program called Atoms for Peace, America gave Iran a 5-megawatt research reactor in 1967. Nobody's worried yet. Iran's a US ally, the Shah wants modernization, and nuclear power looks like progress, not a threat. Then, in 1979, everything flips. The Iranian Revolution topples the Shah, the Ayatollahs take over, and suddenly, Iran's relationship with the West goes from partnership to hostility overnight. For a while, the new regime actually pauses the nuclear program. Ayatollah Khomeini reportedly saw it as a wasteful relic of the Shah's era. But that pause doesn't last. So why does the program come back? The Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s. Iraq uses chemical weapons against Iranian troops, and Iran comes out of that war absolutely convinced it needs every possible deterrent available, nuclear included. Through the 80s and 90s, Iran quietly restarts nuclear research, and this time, it starts building enrichment facilities that nobody in the outside world officially knows about yet. The real turning point comes in August 2002, when an Iranian opposition group called the National Council of Resistance of Iran reveals the existence of two secret facilities, a uranium enrichment plant at Natanz and a heavy water facility at Arak. Suddenly, the International Atomic Energy Agency is asking a lot of very pointed questions, and Iran's government is scrambling to explain why it built enrichment sites nobody was told about. For the next several years, it's just back and forth. Negotiations, suspensions, resumptions, more negotiations. Iran insists this is all for civilian energy and medical research. The West isn't buying it, especially once the UN Security Council gets involved and starts layering on sanctions starting around 2006. Iran's economy starts feeling real pressure, but the enrichment program keeps growing anyway. Then, around 2010, something genuinely bizarre happens. A computer worm called Stuxnet, widely reported to have been jointly developed by the US and Israel, though neither government has ever officially confirmed this, infiltrates Iran's Natanz facility and starts secretly destroying centrifuges from the inside, all while making Iranian engineers think everything's running fine. It's one of the first real cyber weapons ever deployed against critical infrastructure, and it sets Iran's program back significantly. Despite the setback, Iran keeps going, and by 2015, the pressure finally forces a deal, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, better known as the Iran Nuclear Deal, signed with the US, UK, France, Russia, China, Germany, and the European Union. Iran agrees to drastically limit enrichment and submit to intense inspections in exchange for relief from crushing sanctions. For a few years, it actually works. But on May 8, 2018, the United States withdraws from the deal entirely and reimposes sanctions. Iran responds by slowly walking back its own commitments too, ramping enrichment levels back up over the following years. By the early 2020s, Iran is reportedly enriching uranium to levels far closer to weapons grade than anything allowed under the original agreement, and international inspectors are increasingly locked out of key sites. Now here's the part that makes this episode different from every other one in this series. Nobody can definitively say Iran has actually built a working bomb. Intelligence agencies broadly agree Iran has the technical knowledge and enough enriched material to potentially build one relatively quickly if it chose to. But whether it's crossed that final line, or whether it's deliberately stopping just short of it as a strategic bargaining chip, remains one of the most debated questions in nuclear policy today. And this is exactly why Iran's story matters so much for understanding nuclear proliferation as a whole. Every other country in this series eventually crossed that finish line and detonated a device. Iran might be the first real test case of a country trying to get every strategic benefit of being a nuclear-capable state, the deterrence, the leverage, the fear factor, without ever actually pulling the trigger. Whether that ambiguity holds forever is a different question entirely. So that's the story of Iran, the one nuclear program in this entire series where the ending genuinely hasn't been written yet. Now, we've covered every country that's built, tested, or arguably almost built a nuclear weapon. For our final episode in this series, we're going to zoom out completely and look at the bigger picture. How the entire global non-proliferation system actually works. Why some countries gave up their nuclear ambitions entirely, and what happens next in the nuclear age.